Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of League of Inches podcast. NRL Finals Week 3 preview. I'm calling this the Big Dog edition because it's the 4 big dogs left of the competition. Plus, we've got the big dog of the podcasting and Supercoach world, Mr. Savs, Mr. Babyface himself. How is things, brother?
Things are horrible at the moment because I went to clean up my face the other day, clean up the mustache, and I absolutely butchered it. So, this seems to be a recurring thing. I seem to try to fix it up sometimes when it gets a bit too bushy, and then absolutely butcher it. And then I'm like, I'll just shave it all off, and then I absolutely regret it. So things are not good, but I'm very looking forward to the footy this week because the footy on the weekend, I know a lot of people said it was a bit of an anticlimax, but I still really enjoyed it. I think the Sharks come out, beat the Canberra Raiders, and flex their premiership muscle. And seeing the Penrith Panthers on the weekend, oh my God, it's going to be an exciting week. And I think I'm very excited.
I am as well. And just a heads up for you, it's not that bad. The baby fat. I know personally, I hate it as well, and we had a little discussion off air about it. We all hate it, but it doesn't look anywhere near as bad as you're probably envisaging it when you look in the mirror. So you're looking good, mate. And by grand final, it'll be all great back, and you'll be sweet. So, Trav, how's things, mate? You're on another level last night that we're in that Supercoach podcast. So I just want to check in. I'm sure a few of the viewers want to check in as well, just to make sure you're okay, and you and Jesse are just back to talking terms at least.
Nah, fuck Jesse. Nah, I'm off him. He's done. Nah, he's all talk. Literally all talk, no action.
A minute 40 into the podcast, you're dropping F-bombs already. This is going to be another one.
It's been 2 years and I've not sworn once, and I've done it twice in 2 days. It's ridiculous. That's what happens when I'm on school holidays. I'm a whole different kettle of fish, eh?
You forget your responsibilities.
Yeah, I'm not working. I'm off the clock. No, I'm well. I'm on holidays. I am up with the family on Friday for a caravan trip up to Maroochydore, so I'm freaking excited about that. So I'm keen to get away. I have my my screen all ready to go for the game on Friday, the AFL on Saturday, and then the game on Sunday, if that's what I end up doing. A spanner was thrown in my works about 20 minutes before this started, so I'm just having to think about what I do Sunday. And then on a slighter note, Brendan, you still look like a savage rooster, mate. A savage, good-looking rooster. Love it.
Well, thank you. I was expecting insults to come my way after how ruthless you've been the last 24 hours, but I appreciate that.
No,
he's only warming up.
I'll do a little play on words. Yeah, I'm only warming up, but I got nothing to say bad about you. I love you, Sav. It's the guy on the other side that I might get into.
I'm ready for it. Nothing you can throw away. I'm not ready for, and it'll literally be better than whatever you threw at Jesse last night, and actually said to him off air as well, which I will not repeat. Caxton Street Brewing Co. Shout out to them, our major sponsor. Look, guys, obviously there's a massive game coming up in Brisbane this weekend on Sunday. Both the women's and the men's for Broncos sides will both be there, so very keen to watch both of those games. I'll be attending, and guess what I'll be doing? I'll be heading to the Caxton Street Brewery just before those games, getting a bite to eat, getting a drink or two as well. Make sure if you are attending, you go there. Let them know you listen to the podcast. They will look after you, give you a couple of discounts of that as well. But just make sure it's on your to-do list for Sunday. Get in there nice and early, get a good car spot, or if you go on public transport, walk up, give yourself time. Make sure you go swing past, say hello to Tori and the crew there. I want to quickly tell one little
Sunday Arvo beer, Joel. Sorry, mate.
Oh, it is. One final story, because I reckon there's a few of you out there already who've seen, and I need to start coming clean with this. It's been a few days now where I've had to wear it. It's tough to hear, but unfortunately, on Monday we did our season review part 1, which is all the bottom 9. It was a remarkable podcast. It was honestly one that I was super proud of. I know Trav was as well, and thank you to Link from the night who came by and got stuck in. Guys, it was going to be about 3.5, 4 hours of just pure footy talk for you guys. It was so good. Got home, everything was fine. Got home like almost midnight. It was a massive day. And then the next day, I got this call from the producer, which we had on for it. gave me a call. He goes, and he sounded like there was a death in his family. I was rattled as soon as I heard his voice, and I thought, oh no, what's happened? He goes, oh, it's typical. How are you? I go, yeah, I'm all right. How are you? I go, I'm a bit tired, but I'm pushing through. He goes, I feel like absolute shit. And I go, okay, what's happened? And he goes, the videos come through fine. There is no audio. So he's accidentally, from his end, pressed a button before we went off and did everything, has forgot to hit the button again. So, guys, there will be a small, slight delay on this. We are trying to work out what to do from here and the best outcome and get the same space and things like that. But it's going to be coming at some point, but just a heads up that it will be slightly delayed. We are absolutely shattered. Unfortunately, mistakes do happen out of our control, as you can all know, but it is one to definitely keep in the calendar, keep looking at the socials and things like that. We'll update you on what's happening. But yeah, it's been a tough little carry the last 24 hours.
It sucks. I'm shattered, but I just want to put a shout out because I know that there's Sav's audience as well that'll be listening to it from all the stuff that he putting out. But please, if there's anyone out there that's a lip reader, we can at least get some of the content written, and then we can add some subtitles. At least make it worthwhile. The 7.5 hours we gave up for this podcast. Oh man, if you're out there and you're a lip reader, let me know. We'll even pay you to do it. We'll figure out some subtitles.
Did you go to a studio or something and get it done?
No, we went to the actual Caxton. We went to our sponsor, Caxton Brewing Co. They've got an area downstairs. You may have seen it going to Magic Round and that, but they've got this cool little area downstairs. We actually did it all. I had a perfect setup for it. Unfortunately, one little button has absolutely, and I'll say it now as well, fucked us. And it's just been, it's so deflating. I don't know if it's ever happened to you, Sav, something similar, but you've done a podcast and something.
Plenty of times, yep.
Oh, mate, it is deflating as. But we are going to get it, guys. I know we did promise to be out by probably Wednesday, so today it hasn't, unfortunately. I just wanted to quickly come clean and say what has happened and put you all. And look, the producer, Rob, has done a remarkable job. He set up, everything was fantastic. As I said, mistakes can happen, but he's definitely on board moving forward for us. He wants to make it and do everything he can. So it'll be coming. Trust us on that. Let's get stuck into it because I want to raise my spirits again. I just started to get over it, and then the fact talking about it again has just hurt me. I want to ask you one question, Saz, because I quickly remembered who you support in the NRL, and that is the Manly Sea Eagles. Now, slightly off topic, I didn't even have this in the agenda, but I'm just going to spruik it onto you. There is a lot happening at the moment, apparently, around your club. There's so much noise regarding the number one, Tom Trbojevic. 4 days ago, I was about to put pen to paper on a contract. That then went to back of house who didn't approve of the actual figures. And I think there was a hidden clause or something they didn't really like. All been changed up, sent back to Turbo, who then went, not what I wanted, not what I originally signed up for. So this is not happening. I just want to know from you, because it's a bit of deja vu, because obviously 8 months ago, you sat there watching Nine's program, and then DC came on and did what he did. How are you feeling, mate? Because if that was my club, I would be shattered right now, I reckon. This could be two of your best players potentially leaving within a 12-month window.
The fact that it's Tommy and he's pretty much the heartbeat of the side, it shatters me. I think he's been disrespected by a lot of people in the media and within Manly. I think he's the best player in the game when he's on. Yeah, he's had injuries and he's had a bit of a tough run, but they're no chance of making a shot at the 4 if he's not there. Like, especially with Jamal Fogarty coming in, we saw. I think he's a good player and can take them to the finals, and they can have a shot in finals. But if they want to actually do something within the competition, then someone like Tommy is going to be the guy to have them there. And I don't know if they understand that. I don't know if they realize that you've got to have the guy in your team, and someone like Lehigh just isn't that person. And maybe they're thinking, okay, if Tommy leaves, then we've got a backup plan in Lehigh. Lehigh's not the guy. If Tommy goes, they're going to have to do a complete rebuild of their club, because he's kind of keeping them relevant to some extent. If he didn't play all year, like I know he's been super injured throughout the years and all that sort of stuff, but it's not like he's done big injuries like ACLs or anything and been gone for the whole year. We haven't been able to see a sample size of what Manly are like without him for a full year because he's had all these little soft tissue injuries that have hindered him for a couple of weeks here and there. So I don't think they realise how important he actually is to the side. And I look back to the DCE drama and kind of think they kind of did the same thing by disrespecting him with his contract offer. But I look back at that and I kind of think, did they do that on purpose to try and because DCE, like, he's on big money. He's getting on in age and they kind of haven't won a competition. He's on big money. So maybe they can get someone like a Fogarty for 750, 500K less. And then, they're getting rid of Alawai. Tommy's getting downgraded. Like, they got a lot of money in the cap over the next couple of years with especially probably not paying Schuster sometime soon. I'm pretty sure they're still paying him 250K or something. But it made me think that DCE's one was deliberate, and I thought that was a really good move, and all this media beat up was disrespecting Manly, but I was kind of thinking maybe this is a good way forward. But now after all this, I'm looking at it thinking, are they just stupid? Like, are they just that are they just that oblivious to how things work and how players like? I feel like Tommy is one of the most respectful guys in the competition, and he was willing to take a pay cut from 1.1, 1.2 to 850, which I think is very fair. And they offered him a 3-year contract. I think that's very fair as well. They've got a lot of money in the cap. They don't need to be saving money on someone like Tommy. And I think he's been super disrespected. I think he will stay at Manly, but I don't know. Just the smell in the air just doesn't seem right to me at the moment.
What's the clause? I missed the clause.
Oh, I didn't know the clause either, to be honest.
No, okay. It hasn't really been released. It was just that there was some kind of clause in there that apparently was taken away once it got to management.
Stated that a clause was the reason why it was turned around, not the money. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So it is, and the thing is, he was already taking a bit of a pay cut in that original contract he agreed to, because I'm guessing at the moment he's on about 1.1, I think was rumored. It's going down to about 950 now. So that's like 150 they're saving with him already. And I don't think the money was ever the issue. I think it's just the process and how it's actually unfolded that he and his camp have a bit of a problem with, which I can totally understand. He's probably just watched, and by all reports, they weren't best of mates, but he just watched the club captain and how that all happened. And then he's probably thinking, well, they do it to the club captain. What have I got to hold on to type thing? I know he's their favourite son and things like that, but this management at the moment, and it's funny what Savs just said earlier, because I feel like in a way Manly management at the moment are trying to force themselves into a rebuild and have them feel like they're in this rebuild, when really, when you look at the roster, both me and Trav said it on the show, the podcast was supposed to be coming out, that we both had them in the top 4, basically. We were very high on them this year. So I know, you lose DCE, but I don't think there's a real need for a rebuild at the moment. Like, I don't think that R word should be used at Manly at the moment. I think there's still a chance to be a pretty competitive team moving forward. So I don't know if the management are just trying to give themselves a few years extra to just go, all right, look, let's just force some hands, force some changes.
Why did they get Fogarty? Like, if they're going through a rebuild, why get a dude who's going to turn 32 next year? Like, that doesn't make sense. I would rather, to be fair, I'd rather Fogarty than DCE at these 2 points of time in career as a moving forward. I'm taking Fogarty over DCE, and I'm also loving the fact that
Walsh as well.
Yeah, and I'm going out and I'm loving the fact that Fogarty's just bombed out in the finals, because he's going to take some serious lessons out of what he's just had. So, it screams a lot of madness to me.
Also, the fact that DCE's gone from the club, someone like Tommy is so important to that side now. We saw how Fogarty dealt with finals, and I think he dealt with it that way because there's no one else in the side really picking up the slack. Like, you got Ethan Strange and KO Weeks, who they're game breakers, but they're not experienced enough to get the job done. Whereas Tommy can get the job done. Like, he might not be a field goal kicker, might not be a goal kicker, but we saw him seal the game against the Bulldogs in that first finals game last year. Just him and DC's combination. So I think him with Fogarty,
he be captain next year. Him and Jake will be like co-captains, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think Jake will be captain. But I just looked at their current salaries at the moment. So him and Jake are still contracted for next year. So next year, Tommy will be on 1.3 and Jake will be on 1.1. So the following year after that, yeah, I know. So the following year after that, that's when they'll be on their reduced contracts. So I think Jake's taking a pay cut as well. So there's a lot of cap space over the next couple of years. So it's so baffling that they went from 850 to 750. Like, he's already taking a $450,000 per year pay cut. Like, that's not nothing. Like, he's worth he. I wouldn't be surprised.
He's not even 30 yet. He's not even 30. There's still a chance. I know his body's been falling apart but there is still a chance he can get things ready and right for himself, and he can still have another remarkable 2-3 years in this competition. There's every chance of that. And then all of a sudden we're looking at 850 or 750 if it goes that way, and thinking, what an absolute steal.
100%. And he's only the last few years, he's played more than 15 games in the last 3 years. I think 2022, he had like 7 games, but he's played over 15 games for the last 2 or 3 years. So I think he's slowly getting there. It's obviously still an issue, but I think if the Perth Bears come on board and offer him 1.5, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Let's get to some other big news before we get into the big previews for the games this weekend. And that's another bit of news that dropped yesterday, and that was Big Tino Fa'asul Mala'awi on his own social media platform, which I actually really liked the touch that he did. He came out and announced before any media could do it, and I loved it. Players got their own platform that as well. He committed to the Aussies only for this year's end of season Ashes test matches against England over there. So he mentioned in his own words that there's a bit of unfinished business. It doesn't sit well with him that the last time he played for Australia was that smashing at the hands of New Zealand last year. So a few things he wants to right the wrongs of, and obviously that means winning the Ashes over there. I like the fact that a lot of players are talking about it and really are priding themselves on this tour, because I remember back in the day, this tour used to mean a lot to a lot of the past players, and it's good to see that sort of coming back. But the key note here is he's only really committed to it for this year, which I think opens a bit of an ugly can of worms, but that's the rules at the moment. I'll go out and say it now and see if you guys both agree or not. You might have your other takes, but I anticipate he will play for Samoa next year in the World Cup. I can just see it. Savs?
It worries me. It worries me a lot. It feels like it's been a long year for him, and he wants to have a break, and he sees an opportunity to go overseas and still play footy with his family potentially. Yeah, it does worry me. I'm not saying that's the case, to be honest, but he's been on the record quite a lot just saying he wants to play for Australia because his dad always said to him, Australia gave us the opportunity, so like represent your country. And I think he genuinely wants to play for Australia for that reason, but it smells quite a bit. I do think there's every chance that he plays for Samoa next year when it is a World Cup. So but to be fair, like in his case, well, what team is he better off playing for? Like, what leaves a better legacy for him, going over to Samoa and doing something there, or playing for Australia and winning a World Cup for Australia? Like, I feel like potentially winning a World Cup for Samoa leaves a better legacy for Tino than him playing for Australia.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a single doubt, that if he could go and win a World Cup for Samoa, absolutely. But that Samoa team's a beauty already. So, yeah. I love it. I love that he's mentioned that he wants to play for Australia. We need him to play for us. He's one of the best forwards in the competition that can also go and play in the lock, which, to be fair, is probably his best position. I absolutely love it. And I'm very keen to see what he does in the Ashes and how we go with this, because it's an important series. I hate the Poms. I hate them with a passion. I'm an Aussie true blue sporting fashion. So I couldn't care less right now about 2026 in the World Cup. My vision is 2025, win the Ashes, beat the shit out of the Poms. That's all I care about. But it does come back to the question that we have spoken about a lot this year, Joel, and Sav's a bit of information or knowledge about it, is that we've spoken around that I particularly believe that now is a really good time to put the call out for people to say, make your decision and make your commitment and commit to what you're doing, because the game's in the best position it's been. These international teams are as good, if not better, than our Australian team, which has never happened before. And yes, okay, Australia's been beaten in the past, but we've been clear favourites in everett. So the game's in a better position. This is now the right time for all these people to go, or for the world stage to commit, and these players to commit to. I'm a Tongan, I'm a Fijian, I'm a New Zealander, I'm a Pom. I'm from
French.
Lebanon. I'm going to play French. I'm going to play Papua New Guinea. Like, I'm going to go Solomon Islands. I don't care. Like, I really don't care. And I won't hold it to any grudge at all. I won't. Like, I'd be shattered for some of the players to go, but I won't hold a grudge because that's where we're at. And that's the position this game is at right now. But what I don't want is, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see Tino saying, yep, I'm going to play for Australia this year because it's, it's a big series and I want to do it. And then next year he says, nah, but now I want to play for Samoa because I want to do that in the World Cup. I don't want to see that. I don't like that. That doesn't sit right with me. But I'm also I want to win this series right now too.
At the moment, it's in the rule book, so they can do sort of as they please. But what I'd like to see moving forward, potentially after this World Cup next year, is it breaks into cycles, World Cup cycles, and the players have to straight up, straight after the next one, they choose who they're going to be with for that block, and that's who they actually play for. Because, Saz, I don't know if you agree or not, but if I was a Samoa coach right now and he's playing for him next year, I'd want him to be there this year for this tri series because that's a massive series that I'd like to get basically the squad I'm bringing to the World Cup next year together for this one to play and build as much as we possibly could.
Yeah, I've been so up and down about it, very confused about where I stand on it because I think in one aspect I'm just like, just let the players play for who they want to play for, and they're all getting paid quite similar at the moment. I think it's like 13 grand or something to play for Australia or Samoa. So the fact that he has the choice to play for Australia or Samoa and getting paid the same, and he's still choosing Australia, I don't mind that. And potentially he does want to leave a little bit of a legacy behind and hopefully win this Ashes tour for Australia. And then I feel like every player has the right to do both and represent their heritage and also represent their culture.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but I think right now we can't be. I just don't agree with the chop and change. Like, this is not club level. So I don't mind if clubs, and I've called that for things like trades and trade periods and drafting and all sorts of things happen to the NRL, and that's different. But in the international, like, it's the lifeblood, right? So in my opinion, so it should just be that now. In the past, like up until this point, it doesn't matter. But now it should be with the game at the stance is that, if you are eligible to play for Samoa or Tonga or whatever it is, commit to that, and that's what it is, and that's your commitment. Go there and play for that, and do it do as you please. I won't hold the grudge, and I don't think many will, because we know where the game's at, but. I don't think you should be able to go, okay, so this year I'm going to play for the Aussies. Next year I'm going to go and play for Samoa. The year after that, or in 4 years' time for the next World Cup, I might come back to Australia. Like, I don't like that. I think it's just your commitment is you're either an Australian, you're a Tongan, you're a Samoan, whatever.
He's about to blow.
I actually don't mind your idea of the blocks because if they set the blocks, they probably would have set it for this year and the World Cup. So Tino wouldn't have a choice to play in the Ashes in a more appealing series and then go over play for Samoa when it's all in the same thing. So I actually don't mind the block idea because I think that's a potential way to do it. Or there could be a way where maybe if you change once, you can't go play for another team again. Like I think that if you have 3 or 4 heritages, you can change to each once, but you can't go back is what my thoughts are.
I don't mind that. Let me throw another spinner in the works. So Mark Nwanganitawasi has informed the Roosters that he'll be off to rugby union back there for their World Cup in 2027. Not here to promote that code because I haven't watched a game of rugby in about 15 years. So that's that. But there's a lot of calls already coming out to say that this should basically mean he has finished or hasn't got a chance to play for the Aussies in this year's test matches, which at the moment, there's a lot of rumors going around that Kevy's had some multiple discussions with him and that his very, very real chance he's got a ticket to the plane. Do you reckon him already announcing this and going off to Union in basically a year and a half from now should prevent him for getting a spot in this year's Ashes? I personally think I just want to win Test matches now. Like I'm similar to what Trav was saying earlier about I hate the Poms. Whatever we verse him in, I want to just annihilate him. I want to embarrass him. So I'd love nothing more than to send our strongest, and if that includes Mark Nwangani Tawasi, do it. Get him out there, and I don't think it jeopardizes him at all. I think, and at the moment, apparently, he still has a chance to make next year's World Cup side for the Kangaroos in the rugby league as well. So for me, I'm all for it. Even if he's still in this kind of form, and we've got some outside back injuries for the Blues next year, I'd even have him in the argument for that. Like it doesn't really affect me that he's leaving in 2027. Like I'm thinking now and 2026. If he's playing well enough, Savs, pick him.
Yeah, we get into the rhythm too much, and the trick that if they're leaving, we've got to look to the future. But how many Test matches realistically do we play? Like we just got to choose the best now. I think it's actually it's potentially better for the game if they play him. I think they're getting a lot of pressure from the NRL to pick him in the Australian squad, so they could kind of lure him into staying in the NRL. But I think the fact that he has notified the Roosters that he's leaving, it opens up another avenue where rugby union fans kind of have an eye on him again. I know they know who he is and they love him as a player, so they're probably keeping an eye on how he's going anyway. But now that he's coming back, there's just that little bit more interest coming from the other code, and I think the more eyes we can get onto the game, the better. He's a talent that everybody loves to watch. So people are going to watch regardless. Watch him carve up the Poms will be great. It is disappointing he's leaving, but I also think like Suaalii going over to the Union I haven't wanted to watch the Union since probably what was it, like the 2002 World Cup or something, or whenever it was in Australia. Yeah, George Gregan. Who was the number 10? I forget the number 10. I was
Larkham.
Steve Larkham?
Yeah, Larkham, wasn't it? He was in 10.
Potentially.
Or Matty Burke, Giddo. I don't know. Rogers.
I remember Giddo, Matty Rogers. Like back in those days was the last time I really liked watching rugby union, and I haven't even thought about watching it since then. Since Suaalii's gone over, I've had a little bit of interest. So I think it's a good move for Union at least, because I'm going to be very curious of how all that turns out, and especially the World Cup. So yeah, I think pick him if he's in the best 17, and don't pick him if he's not.
Trav, anything you would like to put your fingerprints over on this topic?
Nah, look, Sav said it pretty well. Like, I agree. Like, pick the best team as it is. International game isn't about the future. It's pick the best. I mean, you can pick players a bit for the future, but it's about winning. It's win now. It's not win in 12 months' time. It's not like Union that you're building up for, right? And that way that game goes in the NRL and the way that we play it. It's your international series is this year, or the World Cup's in this time. This is what it is. So pick the best team. If Mark's in our best 17, or however many that we end up taking in the squad, put him and pick him there. And if he gets a game, he gets a game, or to him. If he doesn't, he doesn't. And next year, at the end of his contract for the NRL, if he's still eligible to be picked for the World Cup and he fits in the squad in terms of the numbers, then he gets picked. Who cares if he retires? Like, what's the difference between him going, like, really the message is the same. Someone who says, this is my last World Cup, I'm never doing this again, I'm retiring, to him going, I'm going to go to Union now. Like, it's the same thing, essentially, isn't it? Like, they're not playing again. So what does it matter? Let's win now.
The other thing to throw into this as well, which I find interesting, is the fact that the coach, Kevin Walters, only has basically a 3-game contract at the moment. So in his mind, he's probably thinking, I don't give a crap about next year. I'm not contracted yet. I want to make sure I win now to give myself the best chance to then coach in the World Cup. So if he, in his eyes, has Mark as one of his 2 best wingers, or at least top 3 to have as coverage, he's taking him on the plane. I guarantee it. He will not care what Mark's plan is in 18 months' time at all.
I think if the side was a lot more stacked for depth, I'd be kind of against it, to be honest, because I'd feel ripped off that someone's lost their position. So say To'o and Coates were there and then Lomax is the backup, I'd probably be against him getting picked. But the fact To'o's in Samoa, Xavier Coates will get picked. Lomax probably isn't a guarantee. Like maybe him and Lomax just fight out for that wing spot. I don't mind that at all. But the fact that if it was another scenario where there was a couple of wingers that were in contention, then I'd probably be maybe against it. Because if it's like a 50-50 call, you choose the guy that's going to be there potentially in the future. But you reckon Karaz is a shout maybe even?
Yeah, maybe. I reckon if it's between him and Marky Mark, I reckon they'll pick Marky Mark.
Oh, for sure. But I think you've got Coates on. Coates is locked into left wing for me. Is he playing for PNG?
No.
He'll play for Australia, I believe.
Yeah, so
anyway,
he's locked into the left. Then it's Lomax, Karaz, Nwangani Tawase. Like realistically, does he get many games over Lomax?
I would.
No, it's only 3 games. So.
Yeah.
I'd pick him over Lomax based off the form and what's been happening.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair.
The biggest issue is center. Is center at the moment for the Aussies, I reckon, because
Stags
at the moment it's not a bad thing. We're probably down to Stags and Best or Burton, maybe. Like that's probably the 3 that are going at the moment.
That's a bad problem we've got.
That's not like that's pretty quality there. Best can be his New South Wales form that we've seen in the past, and that's next level. So and Stags at the moment is a freak, and we'll talk about him shortly. But yeah, it's not.
Oh, sorry, Joel.
No, go on.
Savs, I've got a bit more of a harsher, brutal thought to that, and just say that if you're talking about, you've got a problem if we've got depth and, he's taking a spot of someone for the depth, my rebuttal to that is play better, be better, train harder, get in the gym, just be better and not have this situation be a situation for him. That's simply my fault because there's a whole nother year next year before the World Cup, right? So you've got the preseason to go into this year, which what better way to lead into the preseason than to have these international games for you? And then what better way to go into the preseason going, I just got picked. I got dropped or didn't get picked by a dude who's playing really well and has played himself into a spot, but he's about to go to Union. Like to me, if that was me, that'd be a massive kick in my guts. And I'd be up at 5 a.m. in the next morning, just working my ass off, saying, I'm not going to let this happen again. So to me, I just think be better. Like and play better.
No, 100% agree with that. I think if it was over To'o and Coates, who I think are the clear 2 best wingers in the
they're
comp.
2 better players anyways.
Yeah. So that's where I'd have an issue with it. And I guess you'd have an issue with any selection based on ability in that regard. So that'd be an outrage just based on ability. But I think the fact that To'o isn't playing for Samoa, then he's probably arguably the second best winger we can pick.
Yeah, no, I agree. Let's get into these 2 games this weekend. They're both absolute crackers. But first, the results from last week. So the first game, the Raiders against the Sharkies. So the Raiders winning the Sharkies winning 32 points to 12. Straight away, for the tips point of view, both myself and Trav tipped the Raiders. So Savs seems to get rugby league at the moment because he tipped the Sharkies. So that's at the moment 5 from 5 for Savs when we're doing the tips for the finals. Now we're going to the best bets. Now, pre-warning to everyone remembers, Trav went very safe last week, which shocked me and Sav. We were thinking, what game you're playing here? But apparently he has his master plan around it all. So I was a bit shocked by that. Let's see how it's paid off for him. My best bet, I originally had Strange as anytime try scorer. I did send out a message before and I said I'm changing that to Hudson Young because he was obviously ruled out. Didn't happen. And I had Raiders 1 to 12. So did not happen. Trav with his safety first options. He went plus 40.5 match points. So that's the green tick. That was fine. His second leg, however, for Raiders to be in the first half head-to-head, which he would have been sitting there all throughout that first half going, I
up
am
until the last 8
here.
minutes going, you beauty, I got this. And listening to the commentators going, oh, the Sharks going to be going into halftime to it. I was like, yes, I've got it. I'm on. Here's my safe play. And they haven't lost a freaking half in all year. Oh, my God.
Unlucky, mate. Unlucky. Safety first option does not pay off for him there. We go to Savs, and
this is killer.
Pre-warning, this was a $21 hit if it comes off, and both myself and Trav are shitting ourselves throughout this game because of this multi. So he had Iro to score, bang. Sharks head-to-head, bang. That was happening basically from the second half, basically midway through the second half. His second one, and he basically got over the line, if I remember correctly.
It was a tick.
It
was a tick.
It was a tick, and then the referees took it off him. So the anytime try scorer for Nakora did not come off, and that would have been $21 hit. And I would have declared it now. He probably has taken the best bet competition home. So Savs, that was a gut punch, 100%.
Yeah, it was a gut punch. The fact that every other second rower for the Sharks scored, Billy Burns and Teague Wilton as well. So I was like, could have gone any other second row and it would have hit. But I was pretty confident in the Euro and the Sharks one. I think that's a lesson that I just go with the ones I'm confident in. I added that Nickera one, him coming off the bench. I thought he'd play a bit longer minutes, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like very similar to what he played the first week. But I thought they would have fixed that, but they haven't, which is, I think that's an issue, to be honest. But yeah, that's on me. That's a bad one.
That was, you had a sweat, and I'll tell you that right now. Next game, Penrith 46 points to 26, put on an absolute clinic, and then sort of went down a couple of gears in the second half to let the Bulldogs make it a bit more respectable than what it was looking like for a long time. Tips-wise, we all tipped the Panthers, so we're all very confident. So Savs gets rugby league, guys. He is 6 from 6 so far. He's on a hot streak. Obviously very much, pretty much out of reach for both me and Trav now. So we'll have to see what happens there. But for the best bets, so for me, I had Edwards anytime try score, which I was feeling didn't happen, but I had Penrith 13+, and that did happen. So I was spewing there on Edwards. So I was thinking, I was watching him so close in about 8 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go. He had that little chance when they made that break, and he dropped the ball. So I was spewing. For Trav, so his safety first chance, I guess, actually may have happened here. So he had Brian To'o anytime try scorer, tick, and then the Penrith Panthers head-to-head. So he got a win up, guys, $2.25. So he's off the nudie run. He's up, and he just made a slow little indent into the leaderboard. Savs, a To'o anytime try scorer, tick. Then he had a Matty Burton anytime. Unfortunately, did not come off. Matty Burton just seemed to – went anywhere bar Matt Burton in attack, it felt like, for a lot of that game. So that would have been a tough watch for you, Savs, knowing you had To'o very early and then just thinking, do you guys realise you have Matt Burton on your field? Please give him some ball.
Yeah, it was a tough pill to swallow. Even I would have loved to put Penrith in the multi, just tot on Penrith. It would have been a nice thing, but tried to get too cute there.
No, I respect the play. We're up the top here. Trav's chasing us. So the leaderboard, no changes for me and Savs. So Sav's 745, I'm 645, and then Trav's at the moment 225. So he's off the nudie run. He's starting to make his climb up. Let's get into these games, though. So a huge first game, Friday night, Storm versus the Sharks. A couple of big ins. So you got Pappy, Jerome Hughes and Sean Bloor are all back for the Melbourne Storm. And for the Sharkies, unfortunately, Tommy Hazelton out with that HIA. But Oregon Kafusi, who has been pretty good for the Sharkies when he's been given the chances lately, comes back into that side. Trav, you are the Melbourne Storm fan, so I'm going to throw to you first. Thoughts on this game?
I'm nervous.
Where do you want to go with it? Where do you want to go?
Where do I want to go with this? I'm nervous. I've got a few stats and things that I want to talk that I promise I had written down 2 days ago, but that I want to talk about, which we will, and it'll come sort of nicely. But right now I'm nervous. Hey, like the Sharks had good form on the weekend. I didn't think they had superior form against the Roosters, but just did what they had to do. They've sort of stepped it up again into the Raiders, and I still feel like there's another cog for them to step up to. And to be fair, as an NRL person too, like I'm a Storm fan, but I'm not a biased Storm fan. Like I'm NRL first, Storm as a team that I support. I love that. I love that the Sharks have just got that next step and that they're building into this. And this is what we want for prelim finals, right? We want the best games set up. So I love that the Sharks are basically fit and firing and ready to go. The Hazelwood injury is actually really underrated. And people are sort of writing off how important that is, particularly in the matchup against us, because one of the things that the Sharks will have better than us is their pack, and obviously led by AFB, but Hazelwood is really underrated with Hazelton is really underrated with what he can do and how he can play, and the fact is just so big, and that's and against us with the Sharks, that's how they can beat us, that's how they can limit the damage from our spine, is what they can do through the middle. So that's an underrated loss. I'm very concerned about what AFB can do. I thought he was pretty good last week. I thought he was okay the week before. I think, again, he's building, and funny enough, so is the Sharks. So I'm concerned about that. There's a few sort of stories, but storylines that I think I can talk about in a minute, but I'll throw it to Savs now to give you sort of initial reaction, and then I'll go from there.
Go on, Savs.
What am I reacting to?
No, nothing yet. Just your initial thoughts, like what?
Yeah. Oh, just on the game?
Yeah.
Yes, I think it will be a good game.
Perfect. No. I agree.
No, I agree with you with the Hazelton injury. I think he is very impactful for the Sharks, and he's going to be a big loss. But they're leaving out Oregon Kafusi last week anyway. I think he's pretty good off the bench as it is, and their pack's pretty elite at the moment. You look at Melbourne Storm's side 117, and you do that thing where you match each player with each player, and Melbourne probably get the knack over them. But I don't know. I just like the way the Sharks are playing at the moment. I think the Nico Trindle combination is working well, and Brayley's in better form than Harry Grant at the moment. There's a lot to like about the Sharks, but I think the Melbourne Storm are in the box seat here. All they need to do is just make sure they don't get too many errors, complete their sets, and they should win this game. But I think the Sharks will be out for it, and the Sharks won't be scared of Melbourne. I think a lot of teams are scared of Melbourne coming into it. Like I think the Dogs were in that first week coming into it because they hadn't beat many top 8 sides. I think the Sharks will come in and really give them a test for their money.
At the start of this week, I was very confident Storm would win this game. As the days go by, I'm actually getting more and more onto the Sharks and actually liking what I'm seeing and hearing from the Sharks this final series. They've just got a bit of something about them. They're being very upfront and honest with the media, calling things as they see it. Mulatalo's got that big dog back in him, which I reckon if Para are playing in this weekend, I'd absolutely hate it. But the fact that my team's not in it, I can actually sit back and I just enjoy it. I think it's funny. And I like the fact that he's backing it up. Everything he's saying so far the last 2 weeks, he's actually gone out and done. So credit to him for that, for doing that. So Sharks have something about him at the moment. And it's the first time in a while we've seen the Storm, the big four back together, which does have me slightly worried. Like, I know what they'll say about Hughes and say he's ready to go, things like that. But the bloke broke his arm. And the bloke broke his arm and has had some shoulder issues as well. There is no way in the world, and I've heard a few past players and that talk about it today in a few podcasts and that, there is no way in the world he can be 100%. And not just healthy, but in terms of confidence within his body as well. Because we've seen last time he played when he was versus the Broncos and had PQ running at him, he was very hesitant about tackling the right way. So there's just some slight little concerns around that area. I think the Storm have pure class all over the park, though, and that's what should hold them okay in this game. The fact that it's at home, probably a little bit slippery. It's nighttime Melbourne, plenty happening on that this weekend in Melbourne as well. So the atmosphere and that will be insane. So I think it should be enough for the Storm to get there. But if I understand why Trav's feeling a little bit nervous, I can feel his little heart going at the moment, because I think there's some valid reasons why he should be feeling nervous coming into. I think the Sharkies have got their best for last, and to be fair, and I'll say it myself, I've really judged the Sharks quite harshly this year and didn't really give them much of a chance at all until the last game, really. Even before that game, I gave them no chance against the Raiders. But this is the first time almost all year I'm sitting here going, I can actually see them in the grand final. I can actually see them causing the upset this week, and it would not shock me if we're talking next week and we're saying it's the Sharks versus Penrith or the Broncos, whoever it is that wins. So, Trav, I'm keen to hear some of your other little talking points that you've got, but I can definitely understand why there's a bit of slight nervousness and maybe some hesitation there.
Yeah, look, but it's based off what I've been watching from the Sharks. Like, I feel like the Storm have just been doing what we've had to do to get to this moment, and Bellamy's kind of been building for this moment, and this is what it is. And, the funny thing is, like, everyone talks so negatively about, in a way of going, they just haven't been playing well. They haven't been doing this. They haven't been doing that. They've got these injuries, but guess where they are? Like, we're now in the prelim again. Like, so, the expectation is very high, and when it doesn't deliver to that very high, yet we still get there, is more than commendable, right? So that has to be scary. And as a Storm fan, I love that, and I think we're building for that. And then I look at our list, and apart from the fact that Lasada is named at 11, which I don't mind. I like Lasada. I think he's a player of the future. He's in the Blore spot. Other than that, like, you swap Blore with him, and we've actually got our 1 to 17. Other than probably Nas, which would probably be put in the 17 on the bench, we've got our best of every position list. So we're ready. Like, we're ready to go. And I don't think Bellamy's going to be. Like, obviously, we're in a prelim. We want to win the prelim. We want to win the comp. That's what Bellamy does. That's what this list does. That's what we've paid these guys to do. I don't think Bellamy's desperate enough to be bringing these guys back if they weren't cherry ripe and ready to play. So that's how I think. Bellamy has seen it happen in the past. We've done it before. We've made these bad decisions. Like, Pezzett played freaking well 2 weeks ago. Grant Anderson has been killing it all year, and he's sitting on the extended. Like, we don't need to bring these guys back just for the sake of their names. Like, we're bringing them back for the prelim, right, to play because they're ready to go. So that was one sort of thing. I think the way that we've gotten the ins and outs for us is outstanding, and we're ready to go for a prelim.
Can I just say, just on that one little comment, I want to disagree with you slightly on one thing you said, and I'm not sure. I see Savs perking up a little bit. He may be going down the same path I'm going here. The 2 games leading into this finals, obviously, you lost to the Roosters quite heavily, 40 points to 10, and then the week after that to the Broncos, 30 points to 14. And I think we've seen that's 160 minutes of footy. Craig Bellamy, a very, very frustrated coach for about 155 of those minutes. And I don't think he's entirely happy with where you're at. Like, I get the fact that you're sitting there, you're sitting second, you finished second, you got through, you won the first round of finals against the Dogs. There's still people that say if the Dogs didn't lose Crichton and stuff, they potentially win that game. But at the end of the day, you won the game. But I do think even if Hughes was only about 90, 95, I reckon Craig still picks him to this week, because I actually feel like, and with how the Sharks are playing and the momentum they've got, I think Craig's slightly worried, and I think he's got a bit of concern about where the Storm are at right now. And he knows I need the best soldiers effectively on the field right now, and that includes Hughes and that includes Pappy. So, and we haven't even spoken about Pappy yet, but I don't think Pappy's been that good for a while now. And I'll even go back to that play he made to get concussed, unfortunately. He went the short side when it was literally about 5 defenders on about 2 attackers, which didn't really make sense at the time. He ended up getting absolutely monstered for it, unfortunately. But he's just been picking a lot of bad or poor moments, I feel like, lately. And yeah, Savs, I don't know this, and I think this is exactly how the Storm like to be. They'll turn up and they'll probably win by 40 on the weekend. But yeah, there is some definite things in the Storm game at the moment that I can see why the Sharks would probably be going down there pretty confident.
Yeah, and I said a couple of weeks ago that maybe this is what they're planning for. That we haven't seen them hit their peak, and they've kind of fallen short the last couple of years, at least since 2020. So maybe they're taking a different approach this year. But you would think in the game against the Bulldogs, where the game was in the balance, that they would have looked at least somewhat close to their best. The fact that the Bulldogs actually took them to the sword, and then seeing how they performed in a finals match against the Penrith Panthers the next week, maybe our form guide of the Melbourne Storm is just a bit blurry, because like the final series has the Sharks and the Penrith Panthers are the form teams of the competition at the moment, in my opinion. Melbourne Storm haven't really had a challenge and haven't really lifted up to a challenge, to be honest. And I think they're right for the picking, to be honest. And I hate saying it to a Melbourne fan who probably has his hopes up to get them in the grand final. So I'm sorry, Trav, but yeah,
we're here to talk about it.
I think the Sharks, they've just got a lot more momentum going into it. I like what Fitzy's been saying during the week. He did the post-match interview last week, and the Braden Trindle thing, I think they've been very patient with it, and their side has had really hard talks within the group. And I think the fact that they've done that and they've addressed that and they've come out the other side looking like this, I think that's the sign of a really good team, and a team that can really make a mark. They're playing for each other now, and this Melbourne side, that they haven't looked functional for a while now. Like, they haven't had a clinical performance for a few weeks, so probably like 5 or 6 or 7 weeks, if they're lucky. It's the first time their 4 of their spine are on the field at the moment. For a while, they've only played 8 games together this year. So I know. I just think the fact that the Sharks have cohesion within their side at the moment, they got the momentum. I think, yeah, the Storm are right for the picking at the moment.
Trav, there's a big battle for this one, and I think it's very underestimated. The battle of the pack, and mainly the forward leader, which he's sort of picked it up for the Storm. And Stefano, for mine, has sort of become, I don't know if you'd say leader in terms of experience. I think that's not the right way to describe him, but the way he's been starting to play for Storm, and the way he's sort of been having some dominating passages of his stints and things like that, he has really become sort of the leader for the Storm. And then you've mentioned a bit earlier, but AFB, I actually really liked what I seen last week. He was asked to play some bigger minutes because they lost Hazleton so early, and it mucked up the interchanges and things like that. And like I said in the review show, he basically just said straight away, yep, no worries, coach, I'll do whatever you basically need. So it also shows me that he's brought so much into what is happening at Cronulla. It feels like he's only been there for a month or two. This season's gone so quickly, but he's obviously been there for now almost a year. But it's a huge battle. This I feel like could go a long way of winning this game, because the Sharks play their best football off the back of AFB making meters and getting them really rolling, where you can say the same thing if Stefano's laying a platform, then you bring Harry Grant right into this game. And I think the Sharks need to make sure they avoid that at all costs. So there's a lot of pressure to make sure that the Sharkies aim up on players like Stefano.
Yeah, and on AFB, to quote a highly intelligent man, at one point, he's playing like he's not homesick, and so he wasn't you, no, but he is an incredibly intelligent man. But I said to you just before, like, I am really worried about what the Sharks do. Like, they've been building to this, and all of Sav's points are fine, and go nuts, man. I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, this is what we're here to talk about, and I have those reservations and concerns too.
You didn't say whose quote was it?
It's Sav's. Said he said this is the type of pit. This wasn't it. What was your quote? Doesn't matter. But he did say about being homesick, and so I just
yeah. I said that the other week.
Yeah, and both of you bloody didn't pick up on it. I thought I was funny but
you're quoting yourself. I was about to rip you.
No. The battle between Stefano and AFB is huge. You're right. Stefano has been elite. And this is exactly what he came here for. He took less money to come to the Storm to get to that point of where he wanted to be, right? He wanted to come, like he came here to play in finals, to be the head of the snake in a pack on a team that has a great spine, and that's what he's come for, and he wants to be around that. And he's pretty close to getting to that level of eliteness in as a forward. And he's still got lots of steps to go, but he has been playing really well since Origin. And don't underestimate what Josh King does and how he provides. Just being a brick wall is what he's going to have to do, and that's what he does. He prides himself on that really heavy, gritty work, and he's going to have to really step that up against AFB. And to be fair, and it was called about from Savs 3 weeks ago about how good Rudolph has been playing, and he's been fantastic this finals period. And so that, like, to talk about the pack, just literally between those the front rowers, is the Sharks have got the edge. It's just what the Storm do. But I also think the battle here is not just on the forward pack. Obviously, the middle sets the foundation, but you've got it. Really, it's going to be our spine doesn't necessarily need our forward pack to dominate games, whereas on the Shark side, the spine needs their forward pack to dominate games so that they can do it. So it's really going to be a big step on. I think the biggest battles here is the spine versus spine, to then whether what happens and how the domination through the middle can happen and where that happens. You called it before, Savs, around that they've played 8 games together. Guru, he put it out there today, but I wrote this down 2 days ago, I promise. But so when the big four, so we're talking Pappy, Munster, Hughes, Grant, are playing together, they're 7-1, so 7 wins, 1 loss. Funny enough, that 1 loss was actually against the Sharks, so which is who we're playing this week. When we play together, our average score is, when those 4 in those 8 games, our average score has been 37. Now, to be fair, there was a very, very big score on one team that they played against that has that inflated, but it's still there. It's in those stats. So,
is that the Tigers game?
Yeah. So, to be like, I get what you're all saying. And I have the same concerns, but this is what we've been sort of building for, right? This is where we're at, and we have this high expectations of the Storm, and maybe the form guide's not right, but I fully expect that the Storm turn up here and the cogs are just churning and we're ready to go. Like, I fully expect that. And having that week off last week was much needed. Like, you could see the game against the Bulldogs, we literally played like we just had to get much how we got through. We just had to win. It didn't matter whether we flogged them, whether we won by a point, whether we won in golden point. Like, it didn't matter. We just had to get through. We needed that week to build for this moment. So I'm that's me being a Storm fan, but also I think that's me as an NRL person saying, I think that's what the Storm have been going for. This is what we've been talking about for most of the year.
Let's put our money where our mouth is, eh? Let's go our tips. Savs, you're 6 from 6. Pressure is on. People are writing your tips now.
Oh,
who are you going?
Okay, so I'm going the Sharks, and I'm going Kale anytime. 6.25. Kale on another try scoring streak in this final series.
Another multi where you've actually got more value than me. Oh, yeah. Trav?
Yeah, well, they got it,
right? I'm tipping the Storm. So we're 2 tips behind Savs, I think. So we're still 3 games to go, I think.
You are. I'm 3 tips behind. I'm literally on do or die now. So I almost have to go different with every game.
So make sure you say Savs go first so that you can then get the last vote so that you can change.
No, you're next.
So I've got the Storm this week. And are we doing bets too? Did you say?
Yeah, go it.
Yeah, I've got anytime Katoa. I think he's a shoe-in. Going up against Billy Burns. Yes, please. I think that's at 260 individually. I've also got total points. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I've got that at plus 40. I think from the multi that I on an app that shall not be named, it was $4.25.
So you sponsor us. $4.75 was it?
25.
25. Nice. I'm actually tipping the Storm to win this game in a very close one. So I anticipate it to be close. And I looked at the line for this game, and obviously everyone out there gamble responsibly, please. The Cronulla Sharks are getting plus 9.5 line, which I think is incredible. Like I said, I think this will be very, very tight. I like what the Sharks are doing. So to get that, I was jumping all over. And I've also included Katoa as anytime try scorer. 4.75 for those two for me. Very, very juicy there, but not enough to catch Savs at this stage if both of our multis come off.
That's if they get off, yeah. Who's screening this? Maybe I could just say, I'll go Melbourne Melbourne to win. I've got $7 odds here.
I do. I go in and look at it afterwards.
Oh, do you actually?
Yeah. I check it all. It's all legit, mate. All legit here. No one's getting past me. So
very nice.
It's all legit. And it's all from odds right now. That's
a dodgy side that I didn't expect of him.
No, everything's from the odds right now as well, which genuinely they're inflated at this time. When it gets closer to the game, a lot of these odds are actually lower. So we're doing it at a good time. And I guarantee if we tried it when it's on game day, probably get about half, not half, but 50 cents or so off what we're getting at the moment. Let's talk about this next game. I cannot wait for this. I got my tickets. I am so keen to go to this one Sunday afternoon at Suncorp Stadium. How bloody good. This is rugby league that we know and love. The Broncos against the Penrith Panthers. So the big ins for the Broncos. Adam Reynolds is back at halfback, which means Ben Hunt goes to 5'8". Ezra Mam is back starting on the bench. And keep an eye out for Selwyn Cobbo. He's on the reserves also, but I am hearing that I don't think he'll be able to take over either Karapani or Marinado. I don't think he deserves to either. I think both of those wingers have been sensational so far, so keep him there. That obviously means no Billy Walters, and the big one, those that have forgotten about it, no Patrick Carrigan this weekend either. So he's out with that suspension for the 1 week, which I think he got away with that one, a 1 weeker. So for Penrith Panthers, everything is A-OK. Liam Martin, quote from himself, a bit of A-grade carry-on by him. But he's done the old kick-out trick where he's refused to go and get a scan on those ribs as well. So in his mind, he's just going, we're all good there. There is nothing to see here. But he'll probably run out on the weekend with a pillow under his shirt because I'm guessing he probably has one or two very sore ribs at the moment. But no changes to the Penrith Panthers. Like I said, boys, I'm so keen for this game. I think this could be the game of the year, and that's saying something after what we've seen in week one with the Broncos versus Rail. I think this can top it. I think some of the form players that we're going to be watching and just how it's going to be, it's a good day looking at all the weather apps and things like that. It's going to be peak for rugby league. Cleary's on one. Reece Walsh is on one. It's a rugby league lover's dream Sunday, Brendan. Very official then, sorry.
Yeah, that was I wasn't ready.
It's hot. I don't know why I said that.
You caught me off guard. Jesus Christ. I'm very excited for this game Sunday afternoon. I think the winner of this game wins the comp. Sorry, Trav. But I think the winner of this game wins the comp. I think the Broncos have been really good, and I've been saying to a couple of people over the last couple of days, the Broncos, when they play perfect, are probably the best team in the competition, but there's a lot of inconsistencies they have throughout their squad and just their consistency in general. Like Reece Walsh is an all or nothing player. He's been absolutely killing it the last few weeks. Is this week off going to hurt him? Because the momentum's been really good. Reynolds comes back into the side. I actually don't mind Ezra Mam on the bench. It gives them a point of difference in case they are behind and need to throw shit to the wall. So I like that move. But I'm a bit concerned about just Reynolds coming in and all that sort of stuff because I just...
Ben Hunt, 5'8".
Yeah, I think that Reynolds is a professional, so he's definitely going to see how they played the last couple of weeks and try and adapt. But it's a completely different combination to what they've been doing over the last over the last month. So I think that's going to take some time to click. Reynolds has been in and out in the side for the last 2 years in the Broncos, so he should adapt very quickly. But this Penrith Panthers side is their ideal 117. And they've been fit and healthy throughout this last month. They had a break a couple of weeks ago. They've got momentum coming into it. I guess my only concern for the Penrith Panthers is, did they play their grand final last week? Did they come into last week and play a perfect game? They can't really. Can they get better than what they produced for us last week? I don't know. But they do have the knack over the Brisbane Broncos and at Suncorp. They like playing at Suncorp. They like playing in the daytime. Nathan Cleary is a magician. What I do like is I heard on NRL 360 that they asked Reece Walsh, they were like, how are you going to stop Nathan Cleary? And Reece Walsh responded saying, how are they going to stop us? I love that so much. I thought it's not the way I would have thought to answer it, but it just shows a whole lot of confidence. And I guess it shows that the scars from the grand final, they're slightly getting over them. So, it's going to be a good one. And I'm not going to put in my best bet this week any results. I'm just going to put try scorers.
Ooh. Trav, it really and there's no denying those Reece Walsh comments. The thing is, at the moment, no one can even question him or put pressure on those comments because it is a legit thing to say. Because the Broncos, when they turn on, like we've seen so far in recent times, are absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah, when they turn it on, they have been, and when they haven't, they've been atrocious. But to be fair, the last third of the year, they've been the best most informed team in the comp. This is two contrasting games, and I'm really eager to see how the X and O's pan out for this game and what both of these coaches do. I actually don't think Penrith have, like you said in the review show on Sunday, Joel, that the Penrith have stepped up to the third gear, and they've got. I actually don't think Penrith played a near perfect game on the weekend. I don't think they can get better, but I don't think they can get better. If they play like they did in the first half in a near perfect game for the better part of 3/4 of the game, they'll beat any of the four teams. That's hands down, that's what'll happen. But they can't get better. It's just whether they can do that for a much larger chunk of the game. And they're going to have to do that this week because the Broncos, on the other hand, are just going to flat out try and attack. And Savs, your point of what Reynolds and Hunt going into the halves and the concerns are really valid. But I actually really like it because this time now you've got Hunt in the 6, which is now stopping the Billy Walters issue, which he was playing really well, to be fair. But Billy Walters, his whole thing was run, right? Give me the ball and run. That's all I'm going to do. Ben Hunt's not going to do that. Ben Hunt now has learnt over the last third of the year as he's been the halfback to get the ball to Reece Walsh. Get the ball to him, right? And Reynolds has been sitting, get the ball, Reece Walsh. Get the ball. And Reynolds has been sitting there in the, I did that on purpose, but Reynolds has been sitting in the sheds watching this and going, I've realized what I need to do, right? And now for the last 2 weeks, he's been sitting there thinking, I'm going to play. I'm here to go. I know what I've got to do. I've got to get the ball in Walsh's hands. It's as simple as that. Let's get the ball in Walsh's hands. So let's play our game through our big fella Haas, get him to get those meters and compact the Penrith defense in. And then let's find where Walsh is and what he's doing and how he's roaming because he's just elite at the moment. And I really like that. The Broncos cannot get into a defensive grind. So if Penrith want to or decide that, hey, we've got to kick the stop sign here and we need to pull it back, let's now just get into a grind. Let's wait until Broncos making a mistake because inevitably they're going to, because that's just the gun-ho attacking style that the Broncos are. They're going to make a mistake. If Penrith decide, and that's probably the difference between the two as well, is that Penrith can go, all right, let's play attack here. Let's just go all out, bang, click the fingers and we can change. And then when they go, no, it's not working for us, I'll click the fingers, they turn around. It's like literally like a baseball signal, right? You're at third base and they're going, this is what we're doing. And here, now do that. Like that's how bloody good they are. That's how well oiled they are. If the Broncos get into that grind with Penrith, they're in trouble. It's pure blown trouble. And if the Broncos find themselves behind by any more than 2 tries, this is not coming back against the Raiders in Canberra. This is coming to get back against the 4-time premiership premiership winners, and they're not going to get back like that. So the Broncos really need to stand their authority right from the first kickoff, and off we go, and really show Penrith that they're in for an attacking blast force and not get into that grind with them.
The Broncos, with the side that they've named, and obviously no Pat Carrigan, will be kidding themselves if they're coming into this game thinking we can go set for set with this Penrith Panthers team. It will not happen. And I think with the team that the Broncos have named, and looking even at the bench and things like that, which Wilson has been named as well, which is good to see. But Smoothies at lock, I think the Broncos are coming to this game going, we need to score points. And I think they actually in-house know that, and they know they need to win this game by scoring points, not trying to withstand Penrith from doing so. Because what I didn't anticipate last week, and I think many did, was the way that Penrith went about that first half. They literally dismantled the Bulldogs from the outset, and that was a 55,000 crowd where 45,000 of those were passionate Dogs fans. And from basically the opening whistle, they made sure that home crowd was very, very silent. And that was just next level. That's why I said on Sunday, I still think Penrith have another gear or two to go. I actually think they can get better, and that's scary for the other 3 teams in this competition. That if the Broncos win this, they will produce the best game that they've played in a hell of a long time. But I just don't know at the moment with Cleary in the form that he's in and what he's producing. We've seen 2 completely different styles of games now in 2 weeks in a row from Penrith. The first week, conditions didn't quite suit how they played last week. So Cleary was kicking early, lots of along the ground and just game management. And then as soon as there was a mistake made by the Warriors, they struck and went, see you later. You can't come. You can't go with us in this style of a game, which they inevitably couldn't. Now, last week, they had a dry track. Haven't had a dry track for a while, so I reckon a lot of their players were very excited to play some football, which very clearly happened. And Nathan Cleary jumped on the back and said, let's go. Let's do this. And he was everywhere. And I just think if he's in that same mind frame, even though Broncos are probably the only other team that can go with Penrith when they're like that, I just don't know if their defense for the Broncos can actually withstand what Penrith can potentially throw at them on Sunday, Savs.
And also, Paddy Carrigan out of the middle, when Payne Haas is off the field, is going to be a crucial time for the Penrith Panthers. I assume he'll play massive minutes regardless.
He'll have to play 70. Have to.
He'll have to, because I think that time he's off the field, the Panthers are going to absolutely dominate, and probably just send all the traffic through the middle to tire out their middles. They'll probably do that anyway, to be honest. And then, I think, the Penrith Panthers are just going to go for their regular masterclass. Paddy Carrigan out of the middle. The Penrith Panthers are just the fittest side in the competition, and if they replicate anything close to what they did on the weekend, I think the Brisbane Broncos are in trouble. But hope for the Broncos, if things stick, then they're gonna trouble the Penrith Panthers. I think Adam Reynolds is very interesting. He's a great player, but as you said, they need to score points. I think hopefully his game management towards the end, if they are up, gets them over the line, because I think he's been severely overrated in that aspect in the game management. 2021 grand final, you saw Cody Walker try and throw a massive cutout ball. That's on Reynolds to not put him in that point to be in an attacking position within their own 40, even though were they 2 points in front or 2 points behind at that point? I'm not sure.
Rabbitohs were in front.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then he missed the goal from the corner to even it up when Cody Walker scored late in the game. He also missed the goal for the Broncos in the 2023 grand final. He kicked a dropout that forced a penalty goal, and he also kicked the dropout that led to the first try. So I think his game management, he needs to be on top of his game, because these little 1%ers, Penrith make you pay for it.
His game management in that grand final, unfortunately, that last 10, 15 minutes for the Broncos, ended up losing it. And that was the thing that he was brought there to do for the Broncos. And in the time to do it, he unfortunately failed. And that's just calling a spade, I guess. Like, he had a remarkable season that year. I still remember it. He was very good. But when the time mattered and for his experience to step up when he needed to, unfortunately, and that's an interesting point you bring up, because it would have to be spoken about at some point this week, what happened in that grand final and how Penrith basically pulled their pants down in they only needed 15 minutes or so to do it. So what's going to sort of happen here if the similar sort of situation unfolds? And all it takes is that one first try from Penrith for the Broncos to sit in that together behind the post going, please do not happen again. Then as soon as those little voices start happening in your head, you're lost. You're done. And Nathan Cleary and co will just jump on the back of that. So I'm very intrigued to see how this is all handled. I'm very intrigued how long Hunt and Reynolds is on the field together for, as in that halves combination, and when they hit the go button for Ezra Mann, because in all of this, and I know he's had obviously everything that's happened, he's come back now, but it could be a remarkable story for the year that he's had personally. If he can come on, let's say he gets 40 minutes, 35 minutes on this field, and he could be the difference that gets the Broncos into the grand final, because having him on the bench, look, I don't like the bloke at all. I obviously don't like what had happened, but that is a huge ace up your sleeve to be able to bring him on when Penrith forward pack and co are tiring a little bit. Trevor, I don't think that you can stop that. I don't, even the best defenses, I don't think they can stop that.
His speed through the middle and floating around will be immense. Don't understate what Xavier Willison can bring off the bench here too, though. That's a massive inclusion. So,
yep.
So, I mean, so when Haas comes off, you're bringing him on. Haas will play 60, 65 this week for sure. I think they can withstand 20, 25 minutes with Xavier Willison replacing him. I mean, that is not a comparison of I'm comparing the two and putting them together and you're making a like-for-like sub at all, but Willison will be fine. I don't understand and state that. But yes, Ezra Mann coming off the bench for the last 30, 35 minutes, that'll be huge. And then I think what will happen is they go Hunt to 9, Pakes off, and off they go. I think is actually a really good combination. A huge weakness is the Broncos wingers. Like you said, Karapani and Mariner have been really good. Yeah, they have been. But now you're coming against Alamotti in like unreal form, and like he's probably
finals
the most.
Alamotti.
This is a finals Alamotti. He's in better form than most players. He's probably the form player next to Reece Walsh, and with what he's doing. And then you got To'o on the other side. Like I actually, to be fair, I'd actually prefer Cobbo than one of them, just defensively able to withstand the power that those two, Alamotti and To'o, can do. Plus also Cobbo gives them an air target. So I prefer that, but so I think a big weakness is the wingers. I just wanted to mention that, but yeah, like this is going to be a really intriguing game. I actually, you said before, like the game of the year was the Broncos Raiders game, but I really enjoyed that game because there were so many stories that went to and what had happened in it. But the actual way it was played wasn't elite. Like it wasn't a highly skillful game. There was just errors all over the place and just some really poor decisions. I actually predict this game on Sunday is going to be one of the games of the bloody last decade. Like I can just see talent. I can see skill. I can see these two teams just the Broncos coming off a bye, ready to go, rested up, Penrith hitting their bloody straps. This is going to be a ripper. And the best thing about it is it's my favorite time, 4:00 on a Sunday afternoon.
Savs, just before we get into tips and stuff, would you have Cobbo in your backline?
Yeah, I like it. I know Mariner and Karapani have been really good, but I think if things are close, which there's every chance finals games are usually 1-12, then you've got to have point of difference. If they can't crack this Penrith side, then you've got to have a point of difference. You've got to have a plan B. And I think the Adam Reynolds and Ben Hunt kicking game and Reece Walsh, they've got a lot of kicking threats who can put it on target for Selwyn Cobbo. I'd put him up on that right side, right up against To'o, who's that shorter guy. And I think that's the reason Penrith have gone Alamotti over Jenkins, because I think a lot of these dominant wingers on the left side, I think they thought that potentially they were going to come up against some other teams. So, like the left side, you've got Tupou, who was in the 8, who they could have eventually had to face. Tall winger, good leap. Xavier Coates is the big one. I think they would have been looking forward to Xavier Coates potentially playing them in the grand final. He's the one who, if you come up against him, you need to be able to contest him and contest him well. And I think To'o can do that, but just the height difference just makes it near impossible for him to do a really good job on the back foot. So I think that's the reason they've dropped Jenkins for Alamotti, and just the way Alamotti's played has worked in their favour, that not only he brings someone who is tall enough to make that contest, but he's bringing so many other aspects to their game as well. And I feel sorry for Jenkins. He Bloke in a Bar uploaded a clip with him yesterday, and I was just in awe of his story. He was like so emotional, and like his story this year, I guarantee you, just the way he's feeling right now, Jenkins is like completely okay with how everything's going, because he's just grateful to be where he is from the sounds of it. But I think that I would definitely go Cobbo up against To'o. I think the reason Penrith have SWAT wingers is to negate this aerial threat. And if you put a genuine aerial threat against To'o, then that kind of makes them panic a little. And when the Penrith Panthers panic, which they don't do too often, then that's when they become unstuck. So if you've got multiple plans to go up against them, then that's where you can potentially make the difference.
It's getting To'o out of his comfort zone, which is very hard to do because he doesn't have many places where it's out of his comfort zone, but aerial probably is the only one. So, yeah. Trav, tip and best bet, please.
Man, I was hoping you'd go with Savs first.
No, I can do it.
No. I was just because I'm behind, so I was just trying to find a way to sneak my way through. But I'm actually I'm calling this. So my betting is exactly what Sav said at the start. I'm not going anywhere near results. I'm only going certain things I'll talk before. But I'm on the Broncos train, guys. Let's go. Let's get the Broncos. And I've got their stuff. Unfortunately, it was donated to me. I'm tipping the Broncos. And I'll say this as an upset, because I think most people are going to tip the Panthers, but I've got the Broncos.
Why the odds they are.
And then, do you want me to do bets as well? Yeah.
Go ahead.
I've got Nathan Cleary to score 8+ points. I've got a Payne Haas anytime try scorer, and the odds on that is 975.
Whoa. I like what you're thinking there. I think Payne Haas is in for one of the almighty games of his career, to be honest. From a Supercoach point of view, all three of us play it. I absolutely love what I'm seeing from him this weekend. For me, I am tipping the Penrith Panthers to win this one. I just think they are a class above at the moment. I think they'll win the comp. I'll say it right now. My best bet is the Penrith Panthers 1-12 and Katoni Staggs as anytime try scorer. I think Katoni Staggs, we didn't get to really talk about him or anything, but he's in just rare form at the moment. And we spoke earlier in this episode about the Australian team and things like that, but even if we had probably our full-strength centers, it'd be very hard to find a way to not be picking Staggs at the moment, because he's just in that good of form. Like, he's just remarkable. And I think, unfortunately, he's been overshadowed so much over the last month or two because of how good Reece Walsh has been going, the platform that Payne Haas has continued to lay with Paddy Carrigan. But do not forget how good Staggs' season has been this year. He has been an absolute freak. So, yeah, I think he'll continue that on. And I think he'll crash over and he'll have one of those big passionate moments that he loves to do, and the crowd will be all over him.
What's that paying?
This is my house.
This is my house. What's that paying, Joel?
Oh, sorry, that is paying $7 flat. So yeah, that's a nice little one there. I've got Savs.
Yeah, so I'm not going the results here. I'm going Liam Martin anytime up against the right side of why am I going? Why am I going him? Because Ben Hunt's changed sides. So I'm just
and it's against Piakura.
Unfamiliar. So I'm going Liam Martin, going Jordan Ricky anytime, going up against Blaze Slungy. I'm also going Katoni Staggs anytime, and I'm also going Isaac Tungo anytime. The odds are $181.
Oh, he's gonna make us go big. He's
taking the piss here. That is fantastic. I love it.
I'm just need.
If it hits, I look like a genius. But if it doesn't, I've got them catching up to do next week. So I guess
You'll be
I'll
right.
stick to the same tactic then.
I love it. I love the play. What about who are you tipping for this game?
I feel like if I wasn't so biased towards Penrith, I would tip the Broncos. It just has that feel about it, to be honest. But I'm tipping the Penrith Panthers because I want them to win. I can see a world where they win. Do I tip the Broncos? No, I'm not tipping the Broncos. I'm tipping the Penrith Panthers, but I definitely I'm scared. I've said this every week. The Warriors, the Bulldogs, I thought they were danger games for the Penrith Panthers. I think this is the biggest one. This is going to be the grand final.
Bang! There you go. So Joel, you're out of our tipping comp, and I could be in tied with in front with Savs here. Let's go. Big weekend.
I'll take it. All good. And just again, guys, if you're going to back yourself, follow us in with any of those best bets. Please gamble responsibly. That is it. But just before we go, I'll give you guys a heads up now for next week, because it's only the one game with the best bet and things like that. We will be slightly different. So what we'll be doing, and I'll give you the heads up now, so you can start doing your research. We'll do an anytime try scorer bet. We will do the Clive Churchill. We'll do a bet for that one. And obviously we'll do a bet for the results. So 1 to 12 and whoever you choose to actually win the game. But I'll message it both to you. So I'll do it in the agenda and I'll remind you both. But just a heads up, because it'll only be one game, so it won't be too much. And then we'll also do a fourth one. We'll do a little same game multi for it as well.
Cleary.
The Broncos are winning, so there's no point. It'll be Walsh. No, it'll be the Storm. So let's go.
Make sure, guys, as always, please go and give Sav some support as well. If you haven't already, go over to the Supercoach Experience, give him a like and a follow. And for us, please do the same. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. Like the video. Give us some comments. If you have a best bet, anything you want to share, let us know in the comments as well. But until next week for the big grand final show, go out, go enjoy some football if you can. If not, get some great couch time in action and enjoy 2 absolute cracking games. Thank you, Savs. Thank you, Trav. Goodbye, everyone.